Here is the best job that you can get as a young man, and I promise you that you have not watched a video that has gone over this. You see, a lot of these types of videos will talk about money-orientated jobs such as social media marketing agencies, drop shipping, all of these online ways to make a lot of money. And of course, this is important, but I would actually argue there's probably one thing that you need to develop before you even think about making money. And before I tell you what that is, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're into self-improvement, self-development content, and you're an average Joe like me, trying to be a little bit less average. Now, between the ages of 15 and 20, you're probably looking to get your first job, and the jobs that you want to look for are ones that specifically improve your social skills. Because let's face it, social skills is such an important quality and a skill to learn, yet so many young guys, my age and even younger now, is just going to keep getting worse and worse, that they just don't know how to communicate with people. Whether that be going up to a girl and holding a conversation, whether that be approaching someone in a senior position about a conversation, a difficult conversation that you need to have. We are terrified and we are terrible at communicating our thoughts. So what I personally did, and it really benefited me, is I got my first job at 16 years old and I was working in a bar. I know before you say I wasn't serving alcohol until I was 18, but I was actually a bar back, which basically just means you go around collecting glasses, wiping tables, occasionally cleaning up sick, which wasn't ideal. But it was a very, very beneficial job to develop my social skills. You see, I was like any other 16-year-old. I was terrified to speak to people. I was stiff, awkward, didn't know how to hold a conversation or even start a conversation. And I was absolutely terrified when I was going into my first shift. But that was the beauty of it. I literally had no choice to not speak to people, whether that be colleagues, whether that be managers, whether that be people in the bar. When you're working in that environment, you can't really not be social, because otherwise you just come across a bit weird and just give a bit of a bad vibe. And the beauty of that job is a lot of times at the bars, it would actually be females. So a lot of my colleagues, I would say at least 80 to 90% would be females. And a lot of the people coming into the bars were obviously very good looking, attractive females, which as a young guy is like your number one, I can't even describe it, the number one person that is so difficult to talk to for no real reason, apart from the narrative that you create in your head and the pedestal that you put them on, because they seem like such a mythical creature that anytime you try and speak to, you get awkward, can't hold a conversation. It's horrible. I've been there. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it was fucking difficult. Not in terms of the actual work, but being able to come out of your shell fully takes some time. It's not one thing that you're just going to wake up one day and just have instant confidence and social skills and be able to hold a conversation with anyone. It's something that ebbs and flows. It's something that you're going to have to continuously practice on like you would any other skill. But each weekend that I would work and each night shift that I would do, gradually I was just getting to the point where I was so comfortable speaking to new people, introducing myself, holding small talk, which again is a valuable skill that you need to learn, that you probably won't learn by sitting at your laptop and, doing ads or doing drop shipping. You don't have to physically speak to people. So when you then come to do that, you might be coming to close a deal. You're going to be so awkward on that call that you just don't end up closing any deals and ultimately not making any money. Now, I must say this style of work isn't probably for the long term. I ended up working at the bar for around 3 years, which was probably about a year too long. However, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be able to work there, because it has given me so much back in terms of my social skills and personal life and personal attitude, confidence, and all that good stuff. As I said, it's not something that you want to be doing. I was doing a lot of night shifts, which was messing up my sleep and just wasn't really a good environment to work in. Everyone's drinking. You then end up drinking more than you should. And it's not something for the long term. You eat like crap while you're on shift because you're just drinking fizzy drinks or alcohol, or you're eating crisps and nuts and all that good stuff. It's not for the long term. But I can promise you this sort of job is exactly what you need as an awkward young guy. And of course, this doesn't have to be in a bar. This can be any job where you physically have to talk to people, part of it. It could be a sales job. It could be working in a restaurant. Anything you come up with, anything where you have to physically speak to a lot of customers, or any front-facing job like that is going to be absolutely fantastic for developing your communication skills and being able to hold conversations with people. And it's going to suck. You're probably not going to earn much money. It's going to be really, really awkward and really uncomfortable. But like anything else in life, you hear that you need to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, but you're fine doing that with physical things. You might do a tough workout or something like that. But when it comes to communication, it kind of just gets pushed to the side and you're just like, oh, yeah, don't need to worry about that. But that's exactly what you need to focus on as a young guy. So if you are thinking about getting a first job, I would highly recommend getting a job where you are physically having to talk to people.